Chapter 7 Coding with Python, Loop and Function. Concept note. Coding, also known as programming, is the process of giving instructions to a computer in a language it understands to perform specific tasks or solve problems. These instructions are written in a programming language, which is a set of rules and syntax that the computer can interpret and execute. Learning outcomes. Children will be able to understand the role of loops and functions in Python programming. Neha. Hey Tia, have you ever heard of Python loops and functions? Tia. Yes Neha, they are essential in Python programming. Loops allow you to repeat actions and functions are like reusable blocks of code. Neha. Exactly. Loops are super handy when you want to do something multiple times without writing the same code over and over. Tia. And functions help keep your code organized. You can define a function with a specific task and then you can use it whenever you need it. Neha. That's right. It makes the code easier to read and maintain. Tia. Totally. Let's explore them further and see how they work in Python. What is Python? Python is a computer programming language often used to build websites and software, automate tasks, and conduct data analysis. Python is a general-purpose language, meaning it can be used to create a variety of different programs and isn't specified for any specific problem. Python has a simple syntax similar to the English language. Python has syntax that allows developers to write programs with fewer lines than some other programming languages. Loop. While programming, we are often required to repeat the code multiple times. Repetition of code or repetition of a set of steps or statements in a program is done using looping constructs or iterative constructs. A block of code executed multiple times is called a loop. We can create loops in Python using the for and while loop statements. Sequence. A particular order in which related things follow each other is known as sequence. Strings in Python are a sequence of letters. Sequence types. List, tuple. List, it is a sequence of values of mixed data types enclosed in square brackets. The values are separated using a comma. Example, score is equal to player A 90, player B 100. Tuple, it is a sequence of values of mixed data type separated by commas, but the values are enclosed in round brackets. Example, state is equal to UP Delhi. The for statement. The for loop statement in Python is used to execute a block of statements or code several times until the given condition becomes false. We use for loop when we know the number of times to iterate. Syntax. For iterating _var in sequence, statements. Tech corner. In Python, lists are mutable. It means list cannot be modified after initialization. Example, print each fruit in a fruit list. Fruits is equal to apple, banana, cherry. For x in fruits, print x. The while statement. The while loop statement in Python programming language repeatedly executes a target statement as long as a given condition is true. Syntax. The syntax of a while loop in Python programming language is while expression statements. Here the key point of the while loop is that the loop might not ever run. When the condition is tested and the result is false, the loop body will be skipped and the first statement after the while loop will be executed. Example, hash exclamation slash user slash bin slash Python count is equal to 0. While count is less than 9, print the count is count is equal to count plus 1, print goodbye, output the count is 36, goodbye. Jump statement. Jump statement is used to transfer the control from one part of program to another part. In Python, there are three types of jump statements: break, continue, pass. Break. The break statement immediately terminates a loop and control of the program goes to the next body of the loop. When the break statement is executed, the control flow of the program comes out of the loop and starts executing the segment of code after the loop structure. Syntax of break. The above program will repeat the iteration with the given iterathon as a string. Each letter of the given string sequence is tested till the letter A is encountered. When it is encountered, the control is transferred outside the loop block or it terminates. As shown in the output, it is displayed till the letter A is checked. Afterwards, the loop gets terminated and finally gets iter as an output. Continue. The continue statement terminates the ongoing iteration and transfers the control to the top, and the loop condition is evaluated again. If the condition is true, the next iteration takes place. Syntax of continue statement. In the above example, after a condition was fulfilled, continue statement continue a current iteration and give output as iterathon. The difference between a break and continue is a break statement terminates the loop after the condition is fulfilled, but a continue statement continues the loop even the condition is fulfilled. Pass. Pass statement in Python programming is a null statement. Pass statement, when executed by the interpreter, is completely ignored. Nothing happens when pass is executed. Pass is generally called a placeholder. Syntax of pass statement. We cannot develop such functions or loops with empty body segment because the interpreter would raise an error. So to avoid this, we can use pass statement to construct a body that does nothing. Function in Python. A function is a block of organized, reusable code that is used to perform a single related action. Functions provide better modularity for your application and a high degree of code reusing. What is a function in Python? In Python, a function is a group of related statements that performs a specific task. Functions help you to break your program into similar and modular chunks. As our program grows larger and larger, functions make it more organized and manageable. Apart from this, it avoids repetition and makes the code reusable. There are mainly two types of functions: user-defined functions. The user-defined functions are defined by the user to perform the specific task. Built-in functions. The built-in functions are predefined in Python and be used by writing their keywords. Advantage of functions in Python. Functions has many advantages in Python. Some of them are as follows. Using functions, we can avoid rewriting the same logic or code again and again in a program. Function reduce the execution time period of your program. We can call Python functions multiple times in a program and anywhere in a program. We can track a large Python program easily when it is divided into multiple functions. Reusability is the main achievement of Python functions. Creating a function. Python provides a def keyword to define the function. The syntax of the defined function is given below. Syntax: def my underscore function parameters, function underscore block, return expression. Let's understand the syntax of functions definition. The def keyword along with the function name is used to define the function. The identifier rule must follow the function name. A function accepts the parameter argument and they can be optional. The functional block is started with a colon and block statements must be at the same indentation. The return statement is used to return the value. A function can have only one return. Example: how to call a function in Python. Once we have defined a function, we can call it from another function, program, or even the Python prompt. To call a function, we simply type the function name with appropriate parameters. Try running the above code in the Python program with the function definition to see the output. Note: In Python, the function definition should always be present before the function call, otherwise we will get an error. For example, another example of function calling. Consider the following example that prints the message, "Hello world." Return statement. The return statement is used at the end of the function and returns the result of the function. It terminates the function execution and transfers the result where the function is called. The return statement cannot be used outside of the function. Syntax. Return expression underscore list. It can contain the expression which gets evaluated and value is returned to the caller function. If the return statement has no expression or does not exist itself in the function, then it returns the none object. Consider the following examples. Example 1. Hash defining function def sum a is equal to 10, b is equal to 20, c is equal to a plus b, return c. Hash calling sum function in print statement. Print the sum is sum. Output the sum is 30. Example 2. Creating function without return statement. Hash defining function def sum a is equal to 10, b is equal to 20, c is equal to a plus b. Hash calling sum function in print statement. Print sum. Output none. Arguments in function. The arguments are types of information which can be passed into the function. The arguments are specified in the parentheses. We can pass any number of arguments, but they must be separate with a comma. Consider the following examples that contain a function that accepts a string as the argument. Example 1. Hash defining function def function name print hi name. Hash calling the function func xyz. Output hi xyz. Example 2. Hash Python function to calculate the sum of two variables. Hash defining function def sum ab return a plus b. Hash taking values from the user. A is equal to int input enter a, b is equal to int input enter b. Hash printing the sum of a and b. Print sum is equal to sum a b. Output enter a is to 10, enter b is to 20, sum is equal to 30. Python built-in functions. Python has several functions that are readily available for use. These functions are called built-in functions. Function name description. Abs returns absolute value of a number. All returns true when all elements in iterable are true. Any checks if any element of an iterable is true. Sc returns string containing printable representation. Bin converts integer to binary string. Bool converts a value to boolean. Byte array returns array of given byte size. Bytes returns immutable bytes objects. Callable checks if the object is callable. Chr returns a character, a string from an integer. Class method returns class method for given function. Compile returns a Python code object. Complex creates a complex number. Del atter deletes attribute from the object. Dict creates a dictionary. Dir tries to return attributes of object. Div mode returns a tuple of questioned and remainder. Enumerate returns an enumerate object. Eval returns Python code within program. Ex executes dynamically created program. Filter construct iterator from elements which are true. Float returns floating point number from number string. Format returns formatted representation of a value. Frozen set returns immutable frozen set object. Get_attr returns value of named attribute of an object. Globals returns dictionary of current global symbol table. Has_attr returns whether object has named attribute. Hash returns hash value as an object. Help invokes the built-in help system. Hex converts to integer to hexadecimal. ID returns identifier of an object. Input reads and returns a line of string. Int returns integer from a number or string. Is instance checks if an object is an instance of class. Is subclass checks if a class is subclass of another class. Inter returns an iterator. Len returns length of an object. List creates a list in Python. Locals returns dictionary of a current local symbol table. Map applies function and returns a list. Max returns the largest item. Memory view returns memory view of an argument. Min returns the smallest value. Next retrieves next item from the iterator. Object creates a featureless object. Oct returns the octal representation of an integer. Open returns a file object. Odd returns an integer of the Unicode character. Pow returns the power of a number. Print prints the given object. Property returns the property attribute. Range returns sequence of integers between start and stop. Repr returns a printable representation of the object. Reversed returns the reversed iterator of a sequence. Round rounds a number to specified decimals. Set constructs and returns a set. Setattr sets the value of an attribute of an object. Slice returns a slice object. Sorted returns a sorted list from the given iterable. Static method transforms a method into a static method. Stir returns a string version of the object. Sum adds items of an iterable. Super returns a proxy object of the base class. Tuple returns a tuple. Type returns the type of the object. Vars returns the underscore dict underscore attribute. Zip returns an iterator of tuples. Underscore import underscore function called by the import statement. Python user-defined functions. Functions that we define ourselves to do certain specific tasks are referred to as user-defined functions. Functions that readily come with Python are called built-in functions. If we use functions written by others in the form of library, it can be termed as library functions. All other functions that we write on our own fall under user-defined functions. So our user-defined function could be a library function to someone else. Advantages of user-defined functions. User-defined functions help to decompose a large program into small segments, which makes the program easy to understand, maintain, and debug. If repeated code occurs in a program, function can be used to include those codes and execute when needed by calling that function. Programmers working on large projects can divide the workload by making different functions. Example of a user-defined function. Output. Here we have defined the function add underscore numbers, which adds two numbers and returns the result. This is a user-defined function. Flashback. A function is a block of organized reusable code that is used to perform a single related action. A block of code executed multiple times is called a loop. Strings in Python are a sequence of letters. List is a sequence of values of mixed data types enclosed in square brackets. Tuple is a sequence of values of mixed data types enclosed in round brackets. A for loop statement is used for iterating over a sequence. A while loop statement repeatedly executes a target statement as long as a given condition is true. Jump statement is used to transfer the control from one part of program to another part.